Right.
Hasn't she got a lovely voice?
Hasn't she just? Well, Lizzie, this is our second YouTube, and today's date is the 5th of June. It's
Yes.
10:15 in the morning. The sun is shining like it was last time, and let's hope it keeps on shining. And what are we going to talk about? I've not got a clue.
I love
I
it.
don't think you have either. So I'm going to bottle
Oh,
this one. I'm going to hand it over to you. Is there
yeah.
anything? Is there anything you want to ask me?
No, because you've already given me the weather download. So we know what the weather's doing for the next 2 weeks. Have you got any dishes you need to do yet? Or are you okay? Your dishes are all done, yes?
Yeah, all the washing up's done. Yeah. So
Good. Right. Okay. So we're okay for that. Ron loves doing his dishes. Anyway, where has the time gone? It's been about 6 weeks since our last one, hasn't it? 6 weeks
yes, I
or so?
know. Yeah, I know we agreed to do one every 4 weeks or perhaps 5 weeks, but
We lied.
I think what messed it up was all the bank holiday Mondays, wasn't it? Because it's the only
Mm,
day you get off from work when we can do this. And
mm,
obviously, when you got your little boy with you, he's quite full on. And trying to concentrate and do this when he's at home, obviously because of the
mm.
school holidays, it's difficult. But
That's it.
he's a lovely kid anyway, you know that. So
Oh, thank you.
no, he is
Yeah,
very
he's
special.
lovely when he's at school and I can get on with stuff. No, he is. He's lovely. But
Yeah,
like you say, he likes to have mummy's attention, so it's
yeah,
quite hard to get 2 minutes. But
yeah.
so yeah, the month of May, Ron, where did it go and what happened? I mean, was it wild or what?
Yes, I think it was. It's always a long month, May. I know it's 31 days, but it's always wage-wise, it's a 5-week month, isn't it, for most people?
I didn't realise. Yeah.
Yeah, true. So where did May go? I think as far as the deep state is concerned, whatever the white hats are up to, I think there's a hell of a lot going on. Um,
Are you allowed to say those words on YouTube, Ron?
I hope so.
Your first visit to the naughty step?
Well, I did say I was going to blow the lid off a firmament, so
Yes, you did. We'll do the flat earth flat smacking another time, I think. We'll have to have a 2 hour special for that one.
actually, that is one of my weakest points, that one. Um, I'm very much into Toria and the mud floods, very
Mm.
much into geopolitics, exopolitics, the history of this planet, Atlantis, Lemuria. Talk
Yeah,
about that for hours, but flat
yeah.
Earth is a tough one for me. Not because I don't
Well,
believe
that's
it, but because I'm not versed enough in it to hold my own. You know,
I get you. I'm the same. I'm the same.
any
But
any any Globers that know their stuff would wipe the floor with me. They couldn't do it with Alan because he's too
yeah.
experienced. So
So yeah, sorry, Ron. Go back to what you were saying about May. May, the month of May.
yeah, I think it's been a strange one, May. I think there's been a lot of spiritual tension, particularly for us. Very
Mm.
frustrating. I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else because we're not. We're all having a human experience. We're all going through our own stuff. But the
Mm.
frustration of knowing a lot more that's going on that people can't see, don't want to know, won't open their mind up to it. And it is so frustrating for us. I know in our group,
Yeah.
a lot of us have really had a bellyful of it, and we want to see
Mm.
some action. I must admit, I'd like to see the Nuremberg 2 trials start. I think a lot of them have already been done. I think they've been recorded.
Vans, Ron.
And when the time is right, I think they will be televised. And that might be when the internet goes down and all the TV channels, every program will have the tribunals on. And that might be the 10 days that's coming. I think as far as May is concerned, I think the pivotal moment is when the USA and its financial debt ceiling is no longer viable, or when that collapses, I think that will change the earth. I think that's what we're waiting for. Interesting today, the 5th of June. Apparently, the USA is totally bankrupt. One of the head of the, I can't remember what it's called now, but Janet Yellen, she said the debt ceiling is absolutely astronomical. I think to borrow money, even to pay the interest on the loan, it's just untenable. So the country is bankrupt. And it is, as we know, the Mickey Mouse money, fiat money, as they call it, not based on anything. So obviously, we'll have to see what happens. But there you go.
I've heard talk and chatter about the American debt ceiling, and I have to be completely honest. I have no idea what it is, what it means. I'm assuming it's some kind of debt towards like the country or the corporation or whatever. But you know, again, money, like you say, isn't backed by anything. There, especially you know, in the US and Europe. So that depth that we're in, it's just figures on a screen. It doesn't really mean anything, you know. But yeah, that's on a personal level, Ron. How have you felt throughout the last month or 6 weeks? Have you felt any change since our last podcast? Have you felt emotions come up? Have you felt people's attitudes changing towards you and others? Or like, you know, have you got any examples to give me of how you might have felt different waves going on through the last 6 weeks or so? Because it's gone fast, I think.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think on the world stage, I think people are waking up gradually. Far too few, from my understanding. Me personally, I think because I'm very well grounded, okay, I don't have the trauma like a lot of people have, possibly because I live on my own. I've got no family to worry about because I'm the last of the line. So you could say that I've copped out really. It's quite easy for me because I haven't got any.
I don't think you're free from trauma at all, Ron. I think that's another story. But yes, I know what you're saying. You're free from distractions right now.
Yeah,
I don't think your traumas are. I don't think anyone has no trauma. But sorry, I just had to get that one in because I know you're a sensitive soul as well. But
yes, I
go
would.
on, please continue.
I will open up to that one. I think on a day-to-day basis, me personally, I don't really want to talk about me, but I do have a busy life. I never thought it would be so hectic. Because I do a lot of research on the mobile now, I'm getting 6,000 emails a week, mainly because I subscribe to them. I cleared the laptop off yesterday, which I go on twice a week. That had nearly 300 emails on it. I cleared all that yesterday.
Well done.
Doing 4 Zoom meetings a week. Obviously, I've got another one with James this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Our Wednesday one, the men's group on Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, for my age at 75, all I want to do is sit in my deck chair and look at the sunset, but we've got no chance. Haven't even got a chance to get old.
Hey, you've got everything's a choice, Ron. You know, you choose what you desire, and you choose to be with your family and your friends when you're on these Zooms. That you get bored sat in that deck chair.
I know.
You to reach the bar to get your next pint. I mean, come on.
Get a grip.
I get what you're saying, but it's good that you keep yourself so busy because as much as we like, here's my example. Let's go, like, not taking away from your story, but yesterday, I had Saturday and Sunday, Charlie wasn't here. He was off with his dad, which is
All right.
really rare.
Yeah.
So, like, not rare to be with his dad, but rare that I have time to myself because his dad works weekends. So Saturday, I was thinking, right, what can I do today? I'm going to make the most of this. Maybe I could go to a beach somewhere. And then I spent about an hour procrastinating and stressing out about what the hell I was going to do. And I just thought, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So, as much as I was quite excited at the beginning to have some time to myself, I realized that I don't actually really want time by myself, but I need time to just be me. So put all the plans out the window. I was on Google Maps, like, oh, shall I go to Swansea, call for my soul tribe? Maybe they won't expect me. Or maybe we can walk to the beach. But what if it's, all these excuses? So in the end, I just literally sat in the garden all weekend and meditated. Heaven.
Well done. And I'll tell you why I say well done, because I know you have a very busy life. It's flat out. How the hell
Mm,
you cope with what you've got to put up with and a full-time job. I've
mm,
tremendous respect and admiration for you.
mm.
But we all know, and you know as well as I do, you need time to go within. I know you said, a couple of minutes ago, what shall I do today? I think the answer to that question was the best thing I can do is do nothing and just be
Yeah.
and nurture myself and my soul essence, because that's when you get the downloads. Because you're not out there, you're not in your head, you're in your heart, and that's when you draw stuff in. The magnetics of the heart draws in, and that's when you get this automatic knowingness. Okay, I used to read loads and loads of books years ago, hundreds of them. Well, you've seen them in my house, haven't you? And I don't read so much now because I don't need to. You know, it just comes automatically. Um, we may be struggling today. We're going to get good days, and we might get not such good days. Because sometimes we get
Mm,
downloads, sometimes we won't. But we
mm.
just do it with a wing and a prayer, see where we go. And I just hope humanity or people that watch this find it of interest. Um,
Mm.
I
Talking
think
about the books, and you not needing to read them anymore. You reminded me of the I can never say it. Akashic records. How do you say it? The Akashic. Uh,
Akashic Records.
Boom. That's the one. That's
There
what
are
you just
people,
reminded me of.
yeah, there are people on this earth, and I'm definitely not one of them, that can actually read for another soul their Akashic records, but you have to get permission from their
Yeah.
guides, and you have to ask. You can't just break in to a person's consciousness or their Akashic records. This is
No.
something we're going to have to learn when we go into the fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness, because that's what the new earth is all about. Because
Mm.
what we think as a collective, everybody will know everybody else's thoughts. And going back to our friend Alan, he did laugh at that. He said, "Oh God," he said, "I'd be in trouble." But no, this is
Uh,
something. It's a protocol that I think our guides, because we will see them, and they would teach us how to behave. Because I would just look at you, and I'd see everything about all the lives you've had, where you've lived, what incarnations you've had, what you know, what your soul essence is. But I'd have to block that because I'm invading your privacy. But because what we have to remember is we're still separate, even though we're coming closer and closer together, we're still separate, and we need our own identity, our own personality, to a certain extent, our own ego. But the ego will be less and less when we go up into the higher dimensions of conscious reality, because we've
Mm.
become more of a higher self, soul essence, rather than an ego, because the ego is about survival, personality, got to survive, got to do this, got to do that. And obviously, that's where we will gradually lose that. And also, the
Mm.
higher we go, the tests won't be so raw in your face. The test will become far more subtle, very subtle.
Yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
very difficult to differentiate between dark and light, because when you get to the top of consciousness, because we are in what they call fractured light,
Mm.
you know, the God spark of what we all come from is just pure essence of pure white light. When you fracture it and put it through a prism, you get the rainbow colors. And that's what the soul essence is. You might be on the red
Mm.
ray, the yellow ray, the blue ray. And because the blue ray doesn't know what the yellow ray's on about, doesn't understand the yellow ray, and says, well, you're talking a load of crap. I'm in the blue ray and I know what I'm talking about. And this is where you get division. And that's the learning
Yeah.
curve of three-dimensional reality. So
Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting, Ron. How do you know that you're a Blu-ray then, and what color am I? Do you know?
that I don't know. There are people that can see your rays.
Mm.
We have a soul ray, we have an egoic ray, an etheric ray.
All
Um,
right.
we are built on frequency and vibration. And
Hmm.
the more we come down into physical matter, the more we separate out. And obviously,
Mm.
that's what linear time is all about. Because if you do
Yeah.
something wrong, you may not pay the price for it, but your soul doesn't get away with anything, because
Yeah.
you may go to prison in this life if you've done something really bad, or you may get away with it. You might die and say, well, I got away with it. But the soul doesn't get away with anything, because when you
Yeah.
leave the body, you go to the karmic board, you know, in your next life, or it might be the life after that, you're going to have to deal with it and face it. And this is where
Yeah,
we meet
absolutely.
people. We meet people and we know we've got an energy thing with them. And sometimes it might be someone that would give us a really tough lesson, and it might break
Yeah.
our hearts. But obviously, we're meeting that person that we've done a great injustice to in a previous life. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, it's about learning that no matter how hard the lessons are in life, like we've all been through horrific things, and it's very difficult at that moment in time to realize that those traumas are there to serve us as a lesson and a purpose to move forward. Um, it's easier when you've gone past the event, but it's recognizing it at the time. And when you talk about I can say it,
Akashic Records.
thank you. When we talk about those, and you talk about like the realms of fourth and fifth dimension and telepathy, um, it kind of like something came through to me then about the higher self, because we've already got the ability, as in not to read people's minds, but we definitely have that intuition, which to me, this is only just coming through to my brain, my little pickled brain, but our higher self is guiding us with these messages, and I call that our intuition. And also for our passions of things that we love doing. So if my higher self says to me, you know, go and sit on that piano for 20 minutes or half hour, or lose yourself on the piano, then I know that that's coming from my higher self. And I think it's the same for anything that we do. If you're enjoying something and it's your passion and you're doing something that is the right step forward, then our higher self is already telling us that that's right. And when you meet people and you get that instant like, oh, I don't like that person, because most of us are intuitive that way, and we know straight away whether we're going to get on with them or not. And I think, like you say, that's our energy and frequency, isn't it? But yeah, as for the telepathy and reading people's minds, yeah, I totally understand that, and I think most of us have already got it, but we just don't know how to use it because we're not all on the same frequency anyway. Um, but yeah, that's really interesting what you say because we've all got that ability. We're so powerful, we just don't realize it, do we? We've been like, well, I won't go there with the poisoning and the stuff we've been dumbed down with in our education and blah 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 because I don't want to get on the naughty step either with YouTube. Um, but yeah, that was really interesting what you just said then. So the higher we go, the more closer we are to higher self as well. I mean, maybe there'll be two of me that one day, and you'll be like, Alan will be like this. When you're so intense, so shut up.
I think it's interesting, Lizzie. We talk about you and me for a minute. I think, it's difficult to put it into words really, but how the hell I come across you, I don't know anything about you, and how the hell we met up is absolutely incredible. But, I can't get over how much you know me and I know you. And
Mm,
you said it the other day. I think we are one soul.
mm.
We're definitely in soul groups. Okay, we've got our own soul tribe and our soul family, but we've also got like twin souls that I think we've had many, many lifetimes together. Probably been mum
Yeah,
and dad, we've been sisters, brothers, husbands and wives. I think we've done the full gamut.
yeah. You've been Jesus's left flip flop, and I've been Jesus's right flip flop.
That's right. No,
I
it's
think so as
it's
well,
just
Ron.
so it's just so easy to be with you, and I think because that closeness, this is why we get the downloads and while it
Mm.
flows, because you have an open
Oh,
heart. I know you're very emotional, and so am I. We speak from our heart. We're not
mm.
intellectuals. I've never been to university, and thank God
Self.
I have. Now, I think what I will talk about is the solar plexus, because you know about the chakra system, and
Yep.
a lot of people haven't even got a clue about that. Haven't got a clue. And the
Yeah.
word chakra apparently is a Sanskrit word, comes from the
Yeah.
Hindu religion, I believe. But no, it's definitely a Sanskrit
Yes.
word, and it's a wheel, and the chakras spin in opposite directions as you go up the spine. And when they talk about the Kundalini, with the right yoga techniques, right breathing, and I'm not an expert on this, so I'm not going to labor it, but it's about left nostril and right nostril breathing, holding the
Mm.
breath. That's it, you got it.
Mm.
And you build the Kundalini energy up from the base chakra, the sacral, the solar plexus. And when it hits the pineal gland and the hypoglossal gland and the crown chakra, that's when you get true enlightenment. And it's just a wow. It's like
Yeah.
being on the highest of speed or, drugs or whatever. You're just in bliss. And I don't think you lose it unless, obviously, you go into a lower frequency, a lower vibration with drugs, alcohol, bad food, because everything is frequency. And the more crap food we eat, the lower our frequency. And it is
Mm.
true. We are what we think, because today's thought creates tomorrow's reality in three-dimensional terms. When you get to 4 and 5 dimensional consciousness, whatever you think, particularly in 5D, will happen within a few hours. This is where we have to be careful.
There we are. Right. Okay. I'm just manifesting, just manifesting that I've got an extra week off work or something. No, but you're right. You're right. And if talking about that enlightenment and everything else, that's how I got on my spiritual path because I won't bore everyone with the details, but I basically went through a rocky time with an ex partner, and something significant had happened, and I thought, right, I don't know how I got into it, but I wanted to work out how the brain worked. So I started doing a degree at home on neuroscience. I know, the geek. So I was learning all about how synapses are formed and how people think and how we can rewire our brain. And that's how I then found Dr. Joe Dispenza, Rewire Your Brain. And then I got into he did a live show on Gaia called Becoming Supernatural. And I was blown away by it. I was literally like, whoa, fantastic series. But he talks about how they, because it's not just about the meditation. He's done lots of studies with his work and, scientific research, and they put the electrodes on people's heads and they can see the different wavelengths, like the gamma waves and delta and the rest of them. I was going to say Theodore then, but that's the chipmunks. Um, but yeah, so that's the moment I was like reaching for enlightenment. That's what I wanted, because I thought, right, I've just discovered from Dr. Joe Dispenza that he healed himself from a broken spine and literally transformed his life. He was told he'll never get out of bed, and he what he did is he put himself in a room. I mean, he could, because he probably didn't have the commitments that maybe some people with kids have, and blah blah blah. But he put himself in the room on his own, meditated for months with pictures of straight spines, fixed spines, him on his bike. And he literally told himself that that is what's going to happen. And his brain believed him after a while, because you are your thoughts. And boom, there he is telling his tale, running around doing everything as normal. Like he was told, you will have to have rods in your back. So I'm going on about this because of the enlightenment experience that you're talking about. I mean, I almost got there at one point, and there was a time when I was just doing his meditations constantly. Like I still meditate now to him. I love his meditations, but I was almost at that point where I thought, I'm there, and boom, something happens, and it didn't happen, and then I stopped meditating altogether, just completely stopped. And I'm absolutely devastated at that point, because I'm thinking, but there was a lot going on in the 3D world around me as well. So that kind of was that. But when I was at Soul School 2, we did a meditation, which is very similar to what you're talking about,
Yeah.
where we were trying to get the spinal fluid, the cerebral fluid, up through breath. And you've got to do a lot of breath work and hold your breath and let go of your breath and yada yada, and try not to like faint and fall off your chair. And the point of that was then to try and get it all the way up and to get it to hit your pineal gland. um I'm not sure if anyone or how many people did actually get to that point, but I'm nowhere near that level yet. No, I'm fascinated to get there, but something must make us go, oh no, I can't do that. Even though you don't think it in your 3D head or your ego brain, something must, because I do this a lot at night time as well. I've been waking up throughout the whole month of May. This is why I was asking you about the month of May, because I've had like, I've been up and down like the biggest roller coaster that's gone wrong. Um, so like waking up in the middle of the night with a feeling, that, and my heart's like literally, I thought it was actually something wrong with my heart until I got some advice on it, and I was told that I'm probably, my ego is too scared to let my body go at night time. It's too scared to let yeah. So that enlightenment experience, I think, until I finished doing all this work on my ego and like letting go of that, which is not easy. It's not like,
No.
we're not sitting here on this podcast like going, oh, we are the enlightened ones, and I can float by myself in midair and read your thoughts. Especially for me, I'm nowhere near even, I can't get my words out half the time. But I think it's very difficult to do, and even if you're the best of the best, not everybody can get to that level. But soft to those who do, because if it feels like you're taking all the drugs in the world and it's even better than that, then but for me personally, I'm going on a bit now, sorry. For me personally, it was a case of trying to just rewire all my crazy thoughts that I thought I was having. because I just wasn't thinking right. Everything was incoherent and my behaviors were erratic. And I thought if I could just snap something like that and start again, that's what I wanted to do from a neuro brain level. And meditation, whether you're flying off in the astral world or just listening to your neighbors or the birds singing, it's still good for you, isn't it? It's still good for your soul to
Yeah.
sit back and
I think if we go back to these yogis and these meditation experts, um, they say they reach a state of nirvana, which is total bliss, total peace. Um, could mention the Buddha, Gautama Buddha, where he sat
mm,
under the Bodhi tree and just became purely enlightened. And it's stopping the chattering monkey, as they say, because the
mm,
brain is having thoughts flying in, flying out,
yeah.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it never stops. And the
Mm.
only way you can shut it off is by none thinking, none doing, and just being. And that's what
That's hard.
meditation. It is hard, yeah.
It is.
Oh
It
Christ,
is.
I'll say it's hard. But when you get to that state and there's nothing, there's no thoughts coming into your mind, you're just in the moment, and that is where bliss comes in. You know me, I'm very, very focused, very in the moment. Okay, I'm not saying I don't have crap days, I do. And
Mm.
I do have some real shitty days. But most of the time, I'm always laughing and joking, happy, jolly, very well centered. But it took a long time to get there.
Mm.
If you was to see me at 15 and even 10, I was so insecure, insignificant. I was even frightened of my own shadow. You
Yeah.
know, it took me a long, long time to grow up.
Aw.
Emotionally, I think even probably at 20, I was probably about 12. I really was.
Yeah. Well, now you're 25, I'd say you're about 8.
Yeah, you're not far off there. I was
We
honestly.
are like we are like little kids, aren't we? We are both
Yeah.
like toddlers. But I
I
am
think to a
anyway.
certain extent now, even at 75,
Mm.
emotionally, I'm a lot younger than that.
Yeah.
Whether that's because of immaturity, I don't think so, actually. You
No,
know,
it's not supposed to be this way. I don't think anyone
yeah,
should stop playing with toys and having fun and playing
no,
hide and seek in the woods. I mean, who doesn't do that?
I think that's where, well, because I've done years of counselling with people, in a counselling school, proper controlled conditions, you have to let your inner child out. You know, even at your age, my age, you have to go out and play and laugh and giggle and just be yourself. I think society dumbs us down so much,
Yeah.
and we're getting more and more enslaved because of the system that we need just to break away from it, be with nature, and just have fun and get out of all the drama that's going on and the monetary system, the politics and all the other crap that's going on. Just
Mm.
walk away from it and say, sod it. I'm just going to play in the garden, going to go and see my mates. And we could even
Climate
dance around, we
change.
could even dance around in a circle and just laugh. And, you know,
Yeah.
um, if it was winter time, I'd throw a few snowballs at them and just laugh
Yeah,
my head off.
of course. And you certainly wouldn't pee in the snow first because I'd know if it was a yellow snowball. Um, but you know what for me at the moment, what makes me glow inside is when because I've learned so much from various people, like when I'm hearing other people talking about how they're nervous about something or how they've got a perspective of somebody, like I've taken everything in that everything that people tell me, it gets absorbed in here. Like
Yeah,
I don't forget. I may not be able to get it all out in the proper language, but I know it's there. And sometimes I fascinate myself, like without being like praising my egotistical mind. But sometimes, like I find myself giving advice to people on how to deal with how they're feeling and what the circumstance they're going into and the people they're around. And they thank me for it. And I think if I can, if at least give messages out like that to people, and they can then use that and then go on their path, like it's like a domino effect, isn't it? So we're all like, I do notice as well when I'm out and about, and this is me yet again. I'm not trying to blow my trumpet, because I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I get very shy about stuff like this. But I'll be walking through the town centre, and I feel like I can't really look around, because I feel like people are like either looking at me or drawn towards me, and then I'll be in a shop and they kind of all clamber in the corner, and I feel like I can't explain what that is, but I know that maybe it's doing some good, So maybe it's, I don't know. Can you explain? Maybe, Ron, I have no idea. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
can answer that one for you. Um, we'll go back to biblical text on this one. I'm not saying everything in the Bible is true. A lot of it was misinterpreted, misplaced, but there are truths there. And I'll give you this straight off this one. By their light shall they be recognized. And the greater light you have within, which you definitely have, and we all do in our group, still not saying we're better than anybody else, but that light, you are different from a lot of humanity. They can't see it, but they know you're different, and they're drawn to you because you have something they don't have. And that's why they look at you and they're drawn to you, because it's not about the clothes you wear. It's not whether your hair's done or whether you've got makeup on. It's nothing to do with that. It's that inner glow and that inner light. I can't see
mm,
it clairvoyantly, but I can feel it. I know it's there. And you have that radiance about you that people crave for, because you have that inner love and that inner beauty and that inner light, which a lot of people don't have. And they
mm,
are sad and they're looking desperately for it. And that's why you stand out, because they want what you've got. Some people may try and steal it off of you. Some people
mm.
may try and diminish your light out of jealousy or hatred, and they attack you,
Yeah.
because don't forget, we live in a duality world where we've got dark and light. The greater light you are, the more the dark will attack you. And that's
Mm.
something we need to be very aware of in our group, because the
Yeah.
greater light that we put out, we will be attacked. Make no,
Mm.
make no mistake on that one. And it will come in very subtle ways where it might get in and try and break the group down. But if anything like that happens, I will be aware of it. And I think Alan would be aware. He's very intuitive, Alan. And I'm
Yeah.
sure between all of us, if that enters our group at any time, we will
Mm.
know and we will have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it is about that.
We don't recognize that straight away. I think that's yeah, within our group like that. I think none of us suffer fools, or none of us. I think that that would become quite obvious fairly quickly. But it's very difficult to if we have new people in or new people around us or whatever. Like it's still very difficult to discern whether, because we all get some negative thoughts about people we've not known for very long. And I'm not talking about our group. I'm talking about outside the group. So sometimes I do find myself thinking, right, are you just being paranoid? Or is that your intuition? And
Yeah,
it's very easy to miss the intuition. And it's very easy also to not recognize that maybe your own perception of that person isn't quite what you would have thought yesterday or tomorrow. Does that make sense? So it's very hard to get that fine line between, you've got to give people a chance, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. We can't always just dismiss people on the first
no,
moment, like somebody could walk into my life like and introduce themselves as Clive, I'm whatever, and I'll be like, I don't like him, and walk away. He could have been like real gold for me. So, but I think, yeah, you're right. If anyone's got evil intentions or dark intentions, I think most of us would spot that, especially yourself. So Yes, it's an interesting world we're living in these meat suits, isn't it?
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, we hadn't got a clue what we was going to talk about, and we're still going. I did
Yeah.
have to wing it a bit to start with because I thought not a lot happening here, and I thought, oh crikey, we're in trouble here. But
Mhm.
it's
We've
flowing.
always got stuff to talk. Yeah, we've always got stuff to talk about, mate.
Yeah.
Always.
I know
And
what
we
I
haven't
know what
actually
I'd
done
love
an
to
hour
talk.
yet either, but we've
Sorry.
done lots, which is good. We haven't even been an hour yet, and we've done lots. We've covered quite a lot, haven't we? So that's
Yeah, we
good,
have. Yeah.
considering we had nothing to talk about. I mean, the word Lizzie and I have nothing to talk about don't often come in the same sentence. Let's be fair.
Lizzie, you make me laugh. You really do.
Mm.
You know,
Oh,
in all
good.
fun. When we're on a Zoom on a Wednesday night, none of us can get a word in edgeways. We're all like this all the time.
Mm.
And I know once you get on a roller and you get downloads, you don't stop. And I'm the same.
I know. And then I wear
And
myself out because all of a sudden I go, I'm really tired. And then everyone's like, go on, go to bed. Yes.
well, that's why I go about 10:30, 11 o'clock, because it is that Wednesday is very intense. There's a lot of energy and it's very
Yeah.
high energy. And I'm absolutely shattered. And that's why I
Yeah.
break off. I love it,
And
mind you. I'm not knocking it.
I can't admit I love it as well, and I'm not knocking it. I love it, and I think there was one Wednesday. What was I doing? Oh, I had gone out with a work friend because she was leaving work, so we all went out for a pub quiz. Which, like, the last time I went out must have been about Christmas before, so I'm not used to doing all that. I was really worried about like the fact that I was worried, that's not the right word, but I felt unsettled, like that I was gonna miss the Wednesday soon. Like, right, there's got to be a reason why I'm so worried about it. Like, what? Like, it wasn't worried. It was more, yeah, settled. I wonder that's just because it wasn't in my routine to go to a pub quiz. But I made sure that I caught up with you all after.
Good for you.
But I think we all feed each other's souls with love, and that's what we need. And I think when there's a risk of that not being around, I think that's what fragile souls like and childlike souls like ourselves we fear that abandonment, don't we? So
Yeah.
I think as much as I know none of you would abandon me, but like, yeah, we need each other on a Wednesday night. But like, what I was going to say is like, I get home from work literally some days it's not till 7, half 7. I walk through the door and I sort Charlie out, and then I don't even have like a shower or anything like that. I'll probably put my pajamas on or something, and then I'm straight on Zoom with you guys. I do have a little secret munch sometimes when I'm talking to you, but then I've got some days I go to bed and it's like 1 in the morning and I'm 6 for work again. And it's like, and I always regret it the next day. But then when Wednesday comes, I just don't care. I just stay up as late as I feel like, unless I just fall asleep, which has happened a few times on camera. But that's how comfortable I am around you all. So that's allowed. I mean, if I fell asleep right now, it'd be a bit weird, you know.
Nodded off. Now, I'll tell you what, I find with the Wednesday, yes, it is intense, but it's a wonderful intense of a real family, which I
Mm,
haven't got anymore. And I think it's our true family. It really
mm,
is a beautiful family. There's no
yeah.
conflict. There's no one, as I said before in our last podcast, nobody's trying to get on top of everybody. No one's trying to put anybody else down. We all got
Mm.
different talents and we are very different,
Yeah.
very different. And, the amount of stuff we put on general chat, that is a whole history lesson in itself. There's so much you can learn from that, you know.
I can't keep up with you guys on there.
Well, that's why I put
I
that
have
comment the other day. By the way, I've sent you a couple of personal ones, which I don't think you've looked at yet. You haven't had a chance, have you?
most of them.
Yeah. I
Look at
think
most of them.
I think there's only two or three. I normally send you Dr. Sam Mugsley and Kent Dunn because they're interesting. And
Yeah. This scares me though. Like this comes out with it's a little bit like I feel like buying a hazmat suit when, but I like listening to him, so I appreciate you sending me those.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just can't keep up with it most of the time. I just haven't got time to sit on my phone, and I do get bored quite easily. Sometimes I'll be like, and I'll realize I'm scrolling through things like, and I've got 400 left to go, and I'm like, oh. So what I tend to do now is I go through and find stuff that might interest me rather than looking at every single one
yeah,
because like you, it gets to the point where you're just like if I went on to all my other chats, there's no way I'd keep up with every single comment. I
yeah,
do look for a bit of gossip. I like gossip, or I do look out for people in other groups that might have disagreements and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh yeah, not that I get involved, but it's a little break from your 3D reality, isn't it? But yeah, I think the things that we do put on there though are valuable. They're so
Yeah.
valuable. And we've all got something to give to the group as well, which is
I think
great.
that's good because I don't say everyone can do it, but most of us go on the Zooms. Those that don't often go on Zoom, they put a lot of input anyway with stuff we can all learn by. Honest to God, when it comes to videos and they're quite long, I will have a quick skip through them, but there's just not enough hours in the day to do it all. And I have to be very selective of what I look at. I always acknowledge what people put there. I might put just a thumbs up or might put a
Hmm.
clap or a heart or whatever, just to say that I've acknowledged it. Or it might be a throw up job, especially if it's deep state.
See what
But no, I
I've
try
learned
to
to do.
acknowledge it to say, yes, I've seen it, but there's just not enough hours in the day. Even Viv
Well,
and Leslie
I,
Mitchell,
I'm sure people won't. I'm sure
yeah,
people won't lose any sleep if none of us if we don't all like acknowledge each message because I think it's important, Ron, that you stop worrying about like keeping up with that. You've got to look after yourself as well
yeah,
because
good
I mean
advice.
I'm very selective with what I watch only because I get I've got concentration levels of a well they're not the best, so I have to really be engaged in something that I want to watch. And when I'm at a loose end and I think I'd really want to watch something interesting and then I can't find something that excites me, I get really like frustrated. Like, what can I do? So I've learned to just be like, if I see something I think I might like, I'll start watching it or put it in my saved. And then if I like it, I'll carry on watching it. If I don't, I'll skip to something else. But there's loads of stuff that you want to watch. Like I really like that level with me that Lisa put up on the flat earth chat.
Yeah, that was brilliant, wasn't it?
You've seen that? Yeah, that was really good. In fact, I need to acknowledge that because I like that. I did watch that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good one. Um,
Actually, you just prompted me while you said about Lisa. I know she's your friend, yeah, and I think you met her on a workshop somewhere, didn't you?
what it was, she reached out when I had my interview with Lucy. She reached out through Lucy to have a chat with me. So, like, I had a Zoom with her before she came onto our. So I've not known her much longer than you guys have known her.
Oh,
So
right,
she's
okay.
really cool. Yeah, she
Well,
reached out when I had my interview with Lucy. I never knew her before.
oh, right.
No.
I think she's had a pretty rough time. I don't know a lot about her. All I know is, well, I suppose have a bit of fun because she'll probably see this. I know she won't mind, but I would
Yeah.
call her Aussie Essex because she comes from Essex, but she's got that
Yeah.
very strong Aussie accent as well, and that's quite unique. But I'll tell you what,
You,
I think
yeah.
she is a very, very beautiful soul.
She is. She's
And what came to
stunning.
me
And
the
like,
other day, okay, it's not my will, it's what you want to do and what she wants to do. But I think it wouldn't be a bad idea if you two work together in the future because you have so much
that's
talent between you.
that's the whole reason she reached out to me in the first place. So yeah,
There's something
That's
going
how
on there.
that's how we got connected. It's not like, oh, what a
Yeah,
coincidence that she does that. Yeah. So no, we know that, and we
yeah.
are
I thought so.
we're on it. But
I
yeah,
don't.
no,
I
it's not.
don't
It's
know.
like
I don't know how old she is. Any idea?
I don't know, babe. It's probably best we talk about we don't talk too personal because we haven't really asked her if we can talk about her. Do you know what I
No.
mean? She's quite private as well. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's fair
quite sure
enough.
how old she is.
Yeah.
I'd say about 21.
No, she's very, very talented. And
She's
those
beautiful.
videos she put together are absolutely incredible.
Oh,
And
I
that
know. She's
poem,
fantastic.
I know, but I could see, you know, the essence of you two working together. I think that would be sublime. You know,
Yeah.
the magic you two could create is unbelievable. But we'll leave it there
Me too.
because obviously we need her permission.
Um,
We'll see where it
yeah, I
goes with
think
that
so.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love you, Ron.
I love you too. You know that.
Yeah.
It's such
Well,
it's such a joy. Um, what else are we going to talk about? Um, yeah, we talked about the chakras. We talked about fifth dimensional frequency. I think when you go up that ladder of consciousness, because I've got to go back to Atlantean times here. From what I've researched,
mm,
we were actually, as creator gods or human beings, we were in the 11th dimension. Can you imagine how high that is? Unbelievable. And we fell
mm.
from a very great height, not in feet and inches, but in consciousness. Yeah.
It's on my head. I know
And
I never landed on my feet.
no, well, I was going to say something then. No, no, I better not. I've got to keep it, got to keep it pure.
Yes, no naughty step. No being in the gutter.
No, I've got to keep out of the gutter.
I know you like I'm interested in all that sort of stuff. I think maybe we should dedicate that one because I know you've got a lot of knowledge that I could learn about, Atlantis and everything
Yeah,
else. I think maybe would you like to do the next one on
yeah.
Atlantis, and
Lizzie,
I'd like that.
yeah. Lizzie, love, I promise you I'll do that. We was going to do it last time. It didn't
Yeah.
happen. And I've got to focus on that. Um,
Yeah.
I hope I
Maybe
can flow with it and talk about it. I
yeah.
haven't dealt with it for many, many years. Um,
That's fine. I don't know much about it either, but we can talk about it and
yeah,
bounce off each other that way. So, if you wanted to like have a look at stuff, but I think we just go with the flow. I think that one. I think we should do that for next time because there's a
yeah.
lot of people that like myself who don't really know much about it because it's not well versed out in the public domain. We're not really taught it in school. Well, we're not taught it in school. No one talks about it. So I think it'd be really interesting to have that chat. And
I
we'll
think the
dedicate the
reason
whole
why,
thing to that.
yeah, I think the reason why it's not taught or taught in school is they don't want us to know. They
No,
don't want us
no.
to know about our true history. They don't want us to know about where we've come from because it's all about dumbing us down and keeping us ignorant and keeping us like sheep, just herded
Mm,
in a field and do what we're told. And we are creator gods. You know, we manifest. We are very special. And there's lots of other beings from various places that don't have that. And that's why they despise us and want to finish us off, basically.
to the 11th dimension that there's like a lift and you press the the floor that you want to be on. That's how I see it, but not in that way. But which floor, madam? Oh, I think I'll go to the 12th dimension today. All right, 12th dimension for you.
Now we press the button, we go to the top floor, the
Get to the
executive
roof.
suite, and we've got panoramic views everywhere.
Hello, bar, pool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, bless you, Ron. Well,
Bless you
I
too.
think that today has been wonderful considering that I started off with a little bit of a tear. which is a personal matter, but yeah. And we didn't know what we were going to talk about. I think we've done pretty well, don't you, Ron? I think we deserve
Yeah, not
a
too bad.
brownie
One thing
point.
one thing I will finish off with, um, knowing how special you are and how openly hearted and loving you are, don't ever let anybody put you down
Oh, thank you, Ron. And I'm so grateful to have you and the
because
rest of the crew.
you're worth 10 or 20 of anybody else. Uh,
Oh, bless you, Ron.
I know you don't believe it, but please
I
take it
do.
on board.
I do from you. I do believe it in your eyes and the family's eyes. And do you know what? Like it's so last night I really like felt lost and I thought I had a moment of clarity where I was like my ego was going, you've got nobody to talk to. You've got no one. And then all of a sudden, like this voice just went, you have a beautiful soul tribe. What the hell are you on about? No, shut up, woman. I was like, oh yeah, thanks. I'm
Very
so
true.
grateful to each and every single one of you. Like felt lost, and I thought I had a moment of clarity where I was like, my ego was going, you've got nobody to talk to. You've got no one. And then all of a sudden, like this voice just went, you have a beautiful soul tribe. What the hell are you on about? No, shut up, woman. I was like, oh yeah, thanks. I'm
Very
so
true.
grateful to each and every single one of you. Like I honestly can't put it into words how grateful I am to have you around me. Like it means the world. Like
Well, I'll tell you what, you can imagine how I feel because never married, never had kids, got no brothers and sisters, no uncles and aunts, mum and dad are gone. There's only me. And you
sounds
could
like
say, well, I'm a very sad, lonely old man, but I'm not, right the
no,
opposite.
you're not
I have
far
this,
from it. No.
I have this beautiful soul family, which I've
Mm.
never had in my life. And you know how much I love every one of them. Every one of them is special to me because they all come with gifts. I try to give what I can give to our family, soul family. And it makes me realize that, yes, I have got three-dimensional friends, which are very good. They're there for me, they help me, but I can't communicate with them on the level that we communicate. And that's sad.
Oh.
It is sad.
Um, right, should we call that a wrap for today then, Ron?
I think so. Yeah, I think next time we will definitely do Lemuria and Atlantis. I'll do a
I like
quick
it.
top up research and we'll go for it. I think that's it. Lizzie, as always,
Honestly, thank you.
bless
Thank
you.
you to everyone for joining us, and thank you, Ron, for a beautiful, beautiful hour. And we will see you in a month. See the audience again in about a month. And thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
we do 5 minutes after the tape's switched off and trying to find it. Yeah, got it. Trying to find the off button. No, I'll carry on with 5 minutes afterwards. No, thank you to everyone who wants to watch it. Thank you to our beautiful soul